All right, so in this video, we're going to be making a tier list of all of the meat that is healthy, basically, and also we're going to be ranking it based on taste as well. But usually, whatever tastes good is the healthy option in terms of the meat. So we're going to be going through all of these. I will be going through, there's a lot of them. Some of them you might not even have heard of before, but we'll be going through them and you'll be able to see what is and isn't healthy. So first, we'll just start off with basically this one right here. This one's bacon. Bacon goes into A tier. The reason it goes into A tier, I might even put it on the lower end of A tier, maybe higher end of B tier. It's one of those two. And the reason it has to do with being in that tier and not S tier or the highest tier possible has to do with the fact that, one, bacon usually in like 90% of cases will have celery powder added. Not necessarily ideal. You really don't need that extra stuff that they add to bacon. If you ever look at the back of these bacon packages, you'll see like there will be celery powder, there'll be sugar sometimes. There might even be like seasonings. There's like tons and tons of stuff usually added onto bacon. So I'm going to be putting this one here, as well as the fact that usually bacon also, the fat in bacon is a little bit higher in polyunsaturated fat content. So yeah, it's another reason. Another thing is the fact that bacon, usually people, whoever eats bacon, sometimes some people have like really bad digestive problems with any sort, like bacon, duck, or any of that sort of stuff, chicken. So this is also why it goes into A tier, maybe B tier. We might move that in somewhere else a bit later. Next here comes, this is beef. Beef goes immediately into S tier. Beef is one of the best options by far. It's ruminant one. That's what you want. You want ruminant, number one. Preferably, you obviously want it grass-fed and grass-finished. You do not want it just grass-fed, because what they'll do is they'll grass-feed it and then they'll grain-finish it in order to make the meat basically heavier in order for them to get more money out of it. So not ideal. You want it grass-fed and grass finished as well, if it's possible. So this one goes here. It's like, it's not even comparable, because it's the reason why this is going to be so high is just because it's ruminant. Polyunsaturated fat content low, and not only is polyunsaturated fat content low, saturated fat content high. Really just protein as well. I mean, all of this vitamins and minerals, all of this is basically going to be an S tier. Next comes bison. I would put bison either under A. No, we'll put bacon under B tier. We'll put bison either A or low S tier. And the reason I say that is mostly because usually it's like extremely lean. And most people do not have a good time dealing with very lean meat. So we're going to be putting it definitely under A tier. But as a general rule, though, bison is good. There's nothing really wrong with bison, but most people don't. Actually, I know a lot of people who don't like the taste of bison. So yeah, this one, you might go like, what on earth is this? You talking about humans? No. This is blood. Blood goes into S tier. The reason blood goes into S tier, I don't know if you've ever drank a little bit of blood before, or even had like blood sausage that is very more so blood than it is sausage. You will, if you taste blood, in my opinion, blood tastes one, amazingly good, and two, I actually think that this is how humans survived before. I think they pretty much would domesticate things, and then they would basically have a parasitic relationship with that thing, or I guess you could say symbiotic, but more so parasitic, because they would literally be like a parasite on that animal. If you look at the Samburu tribe, for instance, they'll basically like stick the goat, and then they'll have a parasitic relationship with that goat, and they'll basically just drink the blood of that goat the entire time. So that's one reason. Another reason is literally it tastes so good. I'm dead serious. In my opinion, it tastes really good. So I would definitely put this under S tier. If you've never had a little bit of blood or tasted blood before, honestly, blood can taste very good. In my opinion, it can taste very good. So next we have blood sausage. I would put this either under A or S tier, lower S tier, or middle A tier. And the reason is because blood sausage, We'll also have organs in it as well. So organs aren't necessarily bad per se, but organs, if you can definitely overdo organs, which we will be getting into organs eventually. But blood sausage, in my opinion, tastes very, very good. So I would definitely put this under A tier. Next, we have brisket. In my opinion, this goes either under A tier. I would probably put it on the lower end of A tier. Sometimes it could be pretty good, but it depends on the day. It actually literally just depends on what your body needs that day, because your taste buds are pretty good at telling you all this stuff actually. So I would put this under A tier personally. I don't always like brisket so much, but it can definitely be really good. This is, for anybody who doesn't know what this is basically calamari. I would put calamari under either A tier or B tier. I'd probably put it under A tier though. One, I personally really, really love the taste of calamari. I really, really like the taste of calamari. But not only that, calamari, the nice thing about, so for instance, whenever you're eating seafood, you have to be really careful of like mercury content and not basically overdose on mercury and get like tons and tons of mercury. As well as not only that, it's a seafood and you get higher polyunsaturated fat content like the EPA and DHA. I would be putting it under A tier personally. So I really, really like the taste of it. This is caviar. In my opinion, caviar goes S tier immediately. Caviar tastes amazing. For anybody who has not had caviar before, please, God forbid, if you're carnivore, go taste caviar. It tastes unbelievably amazing. Like ridiculously good. I think that it has to do, once again, this is like very, very high polyunsaturated fat content. It's basically eggs, right? Oh, I should have probably put eggs in the tier list. Just to let you know, eggs would go in the S tier, by the way. Regular, like chicken eggs, for instance. But I would put caviar in S tier, and yeah, really, really high polyunsaturated fat content. And not only that, in comparison, the polyunsaturated fat content in comparison to the actual damage that most of the stuff will cause. So for instance, if you're eating caviar and then you have like high polyunsaturated fat content and you also have like high carbohydrate content, which you shouldn't be eating carbohydrates, but assuming that you are, this will cause like extreme damage. But putting it under here, I'd put it under S tier. Just the taste is unbelievably amazing, and the nutritional content, vitamin and mineral content is ridiculously exorbitantly high. Chicken, I'd put it under B tier. It's basically the same thing than bacon. I'd probably even put it above bacon. The reason I put it above bacon is because in comparison, so for instance, chicken in comparison to bacon, chicken isn't usually always infused with all the stuff that bacon will be infused with. So for instance, there won't be like tons of added sugar or seasonings, usually anyways, from my experience when, like, if you ever go to the store. I would definitely put it under B tier. But it is, once again, not good for some people, because some people are really, really susceptible to the fat in it, and they'll basically like have have a sort of uncomfortable bathroom experience. Let's just put it like that. So this is cod. I would put cod in C tier. And the reason I put cod in C tier is because of the mercury content. It's very, very high. I wouldn't say that this is ideal. So I wouldn't recommend this. I definitely wouldn't recommend this. Not only that, the polyunsaturated fat content in comparison added to the amount of mercury content, like it's not ideal. It's not like it's bad. Like there's only one thing in my opinion that's really bad, which we'll get into eventually. But it's not terrible, but it's definitely not ideal. And not only that, it doesn't even taste that good in my opinion. But I would definitely also give it C tier because it doesn't taste that good. Duck. In my opinion, duck skin is S tier. High S tier, actually. But duck itself, I would probably put under B tier. And this has to do with the polyunsaturated fat content, as well as, once again, some people are like really susceptible to this and they will have very uncomfortable bathroom experiences. So not ideal. Next, we have elk. I would put elk under either A or S tier. And the reason I would put elk under A or S tier is the reason because, specifically, one, Elk is ruminant, so that's very, very good. But the taste of elk, it can be pretty lean, and some people really, really can't handle the taste of that much. I personally don't like the taste too much of elk. I like beef way more. I love caviar. I love blood sausage actually whenever I can get it. That's my personal opinion. Fish roe, I would put this under S tier. This is basically sort of the same thing than caviar. I would definitely put it under S tier. Basically, it's just fish eggs. Fish eggs are like really, really good, really, really healthy. Same thing with eggs, for that matter. The nutritional content, like vitamins and minerals, are really, really high. Polyunsaturated fat content in comparison to what it's giving you. Like it's once again, it's definitely good. Ground beef. I personally am going to put this under either low A or B tier, and this is just because of the taste. Sometimes it can taste actually really good. So if you, like for instance, if you make meatballs out of this, I'll put this under A tier. But it depends on where, like how good the quality is. Sometimes it can get very, very lean, and it can't. And if you cook this wrong, for instance, it could taste really, really bad. Next comes lamb. Lamb is S tier, and the reason lamb is S tier, it's actually close to beef. I would probably put blood first, honestly, and then I would put eggs like this. The reason I would put lamb in S tier is because lamb, once again, is ruminant, basically like beef. In fact, I might even put it a little bit above beef because I personally like the taste of lamb a little bit more. It depends on the beef and the lamb, but I really, really like the taste of lamb. Not only that, it's ruminant, really, really high when it comes to saturated fat content. And you don't want, if you're mixing it, once again, if you're mixing it with carbohydrates or you're adding in that glucose more, then that has a, once again, higher chance of lipid peroxidation, higher chance of damage. You don't want to be doing that, really. So this is assuming, once again, you're eating just meat and only meat. If you're not eating meat and only meat, that's probably a completely different tier list, actually. That actually is a completely different tier list. But besides the point. So next we have lobster. Lobster, I would put either under low B tier or C tier. And the reason has to do with the mercury content again. But I do like the taste of lobster sometimes a bit more. So I'm going to be putting it probably under B tier. In fact, I might even move bacon into C tier now that I think about it, just because of how often they'll add like preservatives and stuff to bacon. So it's really like I think I found bacon once that wasn't like just constant preservatives and stuff in it. But that was like, it was rare. It was very, very rare, and it was only on one specific area. So I would probably put bacon, unless you can find this. If you can find this in like actual non-preservative stuff over and over again, as well as all this extra sugar and stuff, I would move this to B tier. But just with how my like experience looking at these bacon packages over and over again, and always seeing like extra stuff added to it, I would actually put it under C tier now that I think about it. So next after that we have organ meat. Organ meat goes under B or low A tier. I'm gonna put it in low A tier. I think organ meat's healthy, definitely. I don't think, though, that you should be eating organs like so often. And this has to do with, one, I think that part of our evolution is literally just like I said here. We were literally just had like a parasitic relationship with that animal, and we wouldn't be slaughtering animals all the time. Sometimes we would, but I think that we probably are putting organ meat under A or B tier. Also, the vitamin and mineral content can really like imbalance other vitamins and minerals as well. That's another thing. If you don't know the vitamin and mineral interactions video, then go check that out because that'll explain this. Afterwards, we have pepperoni. Pepperoni, I would put under C tier. Usually it's there's a lot of stuff added to it. I would actually probably put cod above all of these because at least there is an extra stuff added to cod. I would probably put it under C tier. There's usually a lot of stuff added into pepperoni, or at least from my experience, once again, like it's just this preservative powerhouse stuff. But pepperoni, I mean, it can taste good, obviously, but there's usually so much stuff added to it. Next comes ham. I think that ham, and once again, I like the taste of ham sometimes, but there's a lot of like stuff added to it usually. Um, I don't think it's as bad though as pepperoni bacon, so I'm going to put it into B tier. Pork, I would put pork into higher B tier, probably around here. I would. Do I like it more than the taste of chicken? Yes. Um, I definitely like duck the most though, by far. I would, yeah, I'll put pork into B tier. Once again, people some definitely have some problems digesting this stuff, and they will have uncomfortable bathroom experiences. But I do like the taste of pork though, definitely sometimes. Next we have salami. I would put salami in C tier. It's usually, once again, there's a lot of like preservatives and stuff added to it. It's basically sort of similar to pepperoni. I don't really know if I'd move it up or down in comparison to pepperoni. I'll probably just move it a little up. I definitely put bacon above it though. Afterwards, we have salmon. Salmon's S tier, definitely. In comparison to the EPA, the DHA and EPA content, in comparison, not only that, to the mercury content that you're getting is really, really high. So I'm definitely going to be putting salmon in S tier. I also just love the taste of salmon. Specifically if it's not smoked. Non-smoked salmon tastes amazing. So yeah, we're going to put that in S tier. Sausage. I'll put sausage in probably either high B or low A tier. I'm going to probably say high B tier. And the reason is because sausage, once again, there's like, whenever you go to a store, it's so difficult to find some of this stuff that doesn't have like preservatives, or it doesn't have like all this extra seasonings or all this extra stuff added to it. But sausage can taste very, very good. In my opinion, sausage tastes very, very, very good sometimes. Shrimp is probably C or B tier. The problem with shrimp is the mercury content, but the mercury content in comparison to what it gives, it's nowhere near salmon. But I would probably put it under B tier. I would put it maybe, I'm not too sure if I put it above or below lobster, but I'll definitely put it in B tier. I definitely think shrimp is pretty decent. Sometimes it tastes good, but I don't think that this is ideal. Once again, mercury content in comparison to polyunsaturated fat content it's giving, it's not that good. Tuna is C tier. Tuna is very, very high mercury content. Extremely high mercury content. Not only that, in my opinion, it doesn't taste that good. But in comparison to what you're getting, like, I don't think that's worth it. This, you probably can't read it. But it basically says vegan breed. Yeah, so you can probably guess where this is going. This is D tier. Actually, we're going to rename this to F. F minus. This is as low as it gets. This is never where you want to be. Do not eat vegan meat, okay? The polyunsaturated fat content is exorbitantly high, and not only that, the amino acid content and all this other vitamins and minerals are so exorbitantly low in comparison to regular meat. It's not even close. Next, we have venison. Venison, I would put under either A or S tier. I'm going to probably say somewhere here when it comes to A tier. And once again, this is because it's ruminant. So this is pretty much what you're looking for. One, you're looking for ruminant meat. But it's, once again, the taste is not too bearable for some people. I definitely would think, in my opinion anyways, it's definitely a little difficult to get used to some of this at first if you're trying carnivore, because it's really lean, like really, really lean sometimes. And finally, turkey. I would put turkey either under B tier or A tier or low A tier. I'm probably going to put it under B tier though. I probably would stick it in between, like maybe here, somewhere here. I like turkey. Actually, no. I'd probably put it here in B tier. So yeah. Once again, this, in my opinion, this is what I think is like healthiest when it comes to optimal health. So what do I usually eat, you might ask? Well, it'll be this. I basically, everything in S tier I will have. I occasionally have like a couple things from A tier. So I would have calamari, I would have ground beef, sometimes organs. The organs change. It depends on literally like what's available. Sometimes I'll have organs, sometimes not. But I really wouldn't recommend eating organs regularly. Blood sausage, I really, really love the taste of blood sausage. I would put this under S tier just for tastes because it tastes so unbelievably good. Elk, sometimes. Bison, sometimes. Duck, in my opinion, I would put duck, the skin of duck under S tier. It's unbelievably amazing. It tastes so good. Yeah, this is basically my tier list in my opinion. So hopefully you guys see tier lists when it comes to actually not just health but also like taste. I tried to mix them both together, and not only taste but also convenience and like how easy it is to find some of this stuff. So for instance, like just finding like a chicken or pork that isn't like seasoned, or sausage or like pepperoni, salami, bacon, all this stuff that isn't like seasoned or and stuff, it's sometimes very, very difficult, or just like filled with preservatives. It's very, very difficult. You just have to read the back of the package and you'll see it for yourself. I've read like so many of the back of the packages of like bacon and all this other stuff, and it's terrible. Once again, thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful or informative, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, because it really does help the channel grow. And if you're interested in seeing all of my videos ahead of time, please click the join button down below, where you can, one, see all of my videos ahead of time, as well as support me personally. And if you're interested in extra stem cells, go click my Cerule link down below. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.